us.
Well, World Possible, I trip across you guys all the time. It's in the development world, what you do is magic. It's absolute
That's very
magic.
kind of you to say. We've got some tricks up our sleeves still to come, but yeah, we've had a really nice run over the last couple of years, really working on our mission of connecting offline learners to the world's knowledge. So I know you've run across us once or twice, and we couldn't appreciate what you do more.
Yeah, well, you're kind, but I really got to know you best when I was working on a story for Forbes about a guy who was deploying Raspberry Pis in with little tiny solar panels and batteries, and just the most kind of off the grid computer application I had ever conceived of. We're talking about being out in the middle of nowhere, where no one's ever seen or heard of a computer, and we're taking solar panels, batteries, computers, the Raspberry Pi, and the whole smorgasbord of electronics out there, and making it work in the remotest parts of Kenya.
Yeah. So we are up to, we just developed Rachel, the technology, which is the digital library, kind of the brain of a lot of those computer labs.
Yeah.
But Rachel is now in 41 countries. We work with about 170 partner organizations. So it's really kind of taken off over the last couple of years. Yeah. We started selling it as a product, so people can actually come and buy it, and it's ready to go right here from us. Yeah. So we've sold about 600 of them this year, and we've been working with the University of Cambridge to help build some asynchronous communication, so we can start delivering emails to these folks who are in these communities and delivering weather pattern updates and health updates. And we've had some really nice work with Cambridge and with Amherst and with UC Irvine to really take this from just a small platform into something that's real. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah. We've grown.
How many languages is it available in, or is that a relevant question in your mind?
No, it's a totally relevant question. So we have a full library of content, right? We make copies of websites so that they work on Rachel, or they work anywhere you want to take them where there's no internet. So the vast majority of our content is in English. About 70% of it's in English, about 25% is in Spanish or French, and about 5% are kind of in languages where we're still growing our footprint. And so what we've done is we've started a social entrepreneur program where we are supporting a lot of these individuals who have come across Rachel through another nonprofit. And we're giving them 2 years and some training and funding to build a country-specific version of Rachel. So you've seen in Guatemala, that video you helped show. We also have a chapter in Tanzania, in Ghana, Ethiopia, Sierra Leone, Kenya. And actually, one of our most recent ones is here in the United States in the Department of Corrections. We now have Rachel devices in 14 states in every juvenile justice facility and some adult correctional facilities now, where they were hesitant to give inmates access to the internet and some of the educational opportunity on it. But by getting a closed system with just our closed content, they've been able to run 24/7 kind of pseudo internet connectivity in the prison system here. And that's
that's brilliant. It solves all the concerns, right? Gives them access to information without giving them access to a world that they can manipulate.
Exactly. Yes. No. Oregon, the Department of Juvenile Justice in Oregon has been a real pioneer in this stuff, and they tried to do online classes, and they had a class in art history, and all of a sudden there were like 130 people signed up for it, and it was because all of these people outside the facility were signed up so that they could communicate on the message boards with the people inside the facility. So you open a door, they find a way to get through it, and this has been a really nice way to keep that door closed while still really providing educational opportunity.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. Well, it's great to see the tremendous work you're doing. Tell us what you would hope to get out of Giving Tuesday tonight. That there are a few minutes left in the evening. What would you hope people would do for you tonight, and how would you convince them to do it?
Yeah, so today was actually a really special day for us. We didn't have a big Giving Tuesday, but we crossed $1 million in revenue today for the year. So in between donations and product sales, we sell about $250,000 worth of product this year. We got about 750,000 worth of donations, and literally today we took in an extra few $1,000s and crossed the $1 million mark for the year. That's about a tenfold increase over 2 years ago when you first came across us. It's
wow.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah, it's pretty
radical.
cool. Yeah, it really is. So that was a great day for us. You know, on a day like this, we just hope people hear about what we're doing, think about how this might apply to what they're doing. You know, think about going to racheloffline.org, buying one, trying it out, or building their own. Everything we do is free to replicate. We've just tried to make it as easy as possible for someone who doesn't understand this stuff to get up and running right away. So, you know, today's all about just another day of spreading the word. You know, we do give actually thanks to a lot of our donors, the Dalio Foundation, who's on Forbes all the time. The Happel Foundation has really come through for us this year, helping us set up a few more chapters. And we're just really lucky to be in the position we are right now.
That's great. Well, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's exciting to see what you are accomplishing. How does where you are now compared to where you thought you would be in 5 years, 5 years ago?
Yeah. You know, 5 years ago, it was pretty much a group of volunteers at Cisco Systems who built this piece of technology, and we never really thought we would do anything with it. It was a year-long program just to kind of prove that it existed. And actually, you know, there's a guy, Matt Dalio, I've got to give a lot of credit to. It's Ray Dalio's son who found us and said, you need to make this something special. And so, you know, 5 years ago, we never thought this would be anything. We thought we would prove that you could do this and we would walk away from it. And, you know, now we have a staff in the United States of 5, a global staff of 14, you know, probably over 500,000 users in 41 countries. It's just, it's so far beyond anything we ever thought it would become. It's really fun. It's really, really fun.
How does World Possible ultimately play a role in an ultimately universally connected world?
Yeah. So, you know, the goal of a universally connected world is ours too. You know, a lot of our chapters and a lot of the work we do is teaching computer literacy, teaching blended learning methodologies, teaching technology in the classroom, and advocating that bringing this internet and bringing connectivity, while it might be expensive, has a lot of benefits. And we view ourselves as a stepping stone to that future world where there is broad, ubiquitous, high-speed bandwidth around the world. You know, the rate of internet adoption is slowing. You used to have 17% a year growth in people who are online. It's down in the single digits these days. It's becoming harder and harder for people to invest in infrastructure in the more rural communities where we work. So, you know, I would love to be put out of business from a technology standpoint. That would be a dream come true. Until that day, we're going to do the best we can to kind of give them an experience that makes sense.
It's interesting. You probably stay much closer to this than I, but people have been talking about new models for delivering internet in rural areas, from you know, solar-powered airplanes that never land to low orbit satellites, weather balloons. That I haven't heard of any at-scale deployments. What are you hearing?
No, yeah, you know, Google has kind of famous for their balloon deployments, and their goal in the next 10 years was to cover a 5% band of the Earth that goes around the bottom of South Africa. Now, they don't, and their probability of success has been self-reported that they were thinking this is less than 20% successful. So these programs do have great promise. And TV Whitespace is another one. You know, a lot of these folks are still trying to make a business out of selling internet, though. They're not planning on giving this stuff away for free. And that's important to note, that a lot of these people that we work with deserve access to this content and still can't afford it, even when it's there. So you've got two different problems you need to address, and neither one seems to be finding a silver bullet yet. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that one of them is there and one of them does come through, but it hasn't in the way that I think, you know, 5 years ago, people told us we were crazy for doing this. There'd be ubiquitous internet in 5 years. And I'm not sure how much closer we really are to that. You know, it still is a dollars and cents kind of business.
It's a fascinating response. I'm sure you're right, because you're so much closer to it than I, but you're right. You know, 5 years ago, we would have said 5 years, we'd have ubiquitous internet somehow, some way.
Yeah.
No one would be left, and here we are, and we got a lot of people left that don't have access. And it's using conventional models, it's very expensive to reach them, and the new technology isn't prime time yet.
No, and the new technology is also very expensive. Solar powered planes that never land ain't cheap. So, there's a lot of desire to reach these populations. At World Possible, in conjunction with Cambridge, we're trying to develop a way where we can use the flow of people to actually deliver internet, and that's something that we'll hopefully launch in the next couple of months or years. We started piloting it in Malawi and had some really good receptivity to it, and it just needs a little refinement. But we're going to try and rely on the things we know that work, and that's people, and that's hand-to-hand, and that's people helping people. And we'll see where we get.